I've seen people up here at Lowell Observatory start crying because they've lived in big cities all their lives and they've never seen the Milky Way. And yet here, right in the middle of our campus, which is less than a mile from downtown Flagstaff, you can see the Milky Way. And then, so it's important for astronomers, it's important just as humans to, get connected with the universe around us.
While artificial light has provided us a means to reshape nature to our own needs and desires, it has also introduced an endless series of dangerous disruptions into our lives and ecosystems at an unprecedented rate. Circadian rhythms are being upset, health risks and rates of cancers and chronic disease are increasing, and humans and animals alike are left disoriented. In addition to serious health risks and creating public health crisis, our perception of self, surrounding, and statuses are changing, and accessing the night sky is becoming an exclusive privilege as we continue to urbanize and create expanse of light.
Paul Lynham, an astronomer at the University of California Lick Observatory, warns us, increasing light pollution is eroding opportunities for us to contemplate the inspirational beauty of a starry night sky. Tragically, 80% of children born in the Western world today will never know a night dark enough that they can see the Milky Way. For many city dwellers, this right may never be reclaimed. This loss of the night sky is not an individual choice. Even if we take care of our immediate surroundings, artificial light still trespasses from neighboring areas. This is the plight of the University of Utah's South Physics Observatory, which grapples with light pollution each hour the sun is down.
We've had the current observatory on campus since about 1976, I believe. There have been others leading back probably into the 20s, but we've had this one since then.
How long have you worked here?
Worked here since 2005.
This location is strictly used for public outreach and education, correct? It's not used at all for scientific research?
Correct, just public outreach mostly and some classes.
And why don't you do scientific research here?
There's a few reasons, primarily one being there's too much light pollution, so a lot of observations these days require darker skies than we have in order to get proper measurements for things and be able to see them.
You mentioned you worked here since 2005. Are there any physical changes you have noticed on campus that have affected the observatory at all?
Yeah, the campus and city keep getting brighter lights. Despite them being somewhat proper lighting, like LEDs and full cutoff fixtures, they're also being overly bright, overly blue, and just too many of them.
For the observatory, there is one nearby culprit which especially interferes with their work. Shoebox LED lights and fluorescent strip light fixtures are placed throughout the garage in close proximity groupings, a phenomenon known as light clutter. Moreover, the street lamps lining the property emit light in many directions. This excess of only partially shielded lighting causes glare and visual impairment to both pedestrians and drivers. These numerous clustered lights in the garage remain on during the daytime, and this wasteful energy practice generally goes unnoticed because of the light from the sun. However, even as the sun goes down each night, it still appears to be daylight in the garage. The northwest parking garage emanates excessive amounts of light, which easily reach the roof of the observatory. This jarring change has been noticed by pedestrians, drivers, neighbors, and especially by the observatory.
And I'm sure the neighboring parking garage isn't too helpful, right?
Not at all. That has been the single worst impact for at least local light pollution nearby, out of basically anything else.
How many people would you estimate visit the observatory every year for weekly star parties?
For weekly star parties, probably a few thousand.
Have any visitors ever mentioned anything about excessive light pollution or that they wish the location was darker?
Yeah, everybody comes and wishes it was darker just because we can't see galaxies and nebulae like we can in darker places.
Are there any observatories in the country or the world that you think the University of Utah could emulate in regards to their urban location or potential lighting ordinances?
It's going to be hard, but places like Tucson have had lighting ordinances from kind of the onset of their expansions. So potentially doing something similar to them.
And do you know the details of their ordinances? Do they require shielding on lights? Do they require a certain color temperature?
Shielding is definitely one, full cutoff fixtures, low Kelvin, and only as bright as you need.
In your professional opinion, how do you think the U or Salt Lake City in general could improve their light pollution?
Well, first of all, cutting back the light. A lot of places have way too many lights in the same area, so it's nearly daylight in those spots. So that's like some clustering problems.
The thing that I find really frustrating is that they put this like on the side of away from the observatory. They put the kind of shielding up on the side of the garage that's kind of decorative, and on the side towards the observatory they don't have that. It's just open. And to me, like that's the biggest thing is if we could somehow either shield the lighting at the source of the fixtures, or have shielding on the kind of the windows, or I mean they're not windows but just the open areas. That would really help a lot. Cut down the glare, you know. I mean, I think almost everyone who goes out to Dark Sky Place really is struck by how kind of awe and wonder that you get from that. And I think that kind of awe and wonder isn't a very common experience for people. You know, I think it kind of helps you think of your place in the world and really puts things into perspective. And you know, it may be similar to seeing like the ocean. You know, when for the first time, the first time I saw the ocean, it's kind of a similar experience. You know, I feel like, and really almost everyone at this point who lives in the U.S., almost no one has access to that on a regular basis. And so, you know, I think to me, protecting the dark skies areas that we have is a minimum thing that we should be trying to do.